anticipated panel is now here. Allow me to introduce an essential and most intriguing panel focused on decentralized venture capital and yield funds. Please welcome with me on stage Mr. Valentin, our moderator, and he is the founder and CEO, and Mr. Assad, the co-founder and chief visionary officer. And then up next we have Mr. Alexandre Fazel. Welcome him back again. He truly went above and beyond yesterday, along with Mr. Alexandre RAFFIN and Ms. Maral of LunaPR. Huge round of applause, everybody.
Okay, guys, let's start. So decentralized venture funds and yield funds. Just a few months ago, maybe a year ago, there were more than $200 billion staked in yield farming and other stuff, mostly by institutions. So there were family offices, there were funds, yield funds. There were centralized players who were investing into decentralized yield farming protocols, including UST, like Terra, right, which collapsed. Then Aero Capital collapsed. Celsius, Genesis, now Silvergate. FTX is a bit different story, right? So here is the recent news from the decentralized venture investing into yield farming, which was kind of the driver of the recent DeFi boom, right? There is also investments into new protocols, kind of next page protocols, ranging from Phantom, from Solana, and they are served by pretty centralized funds. So there were attempts to set up funds which can be fully decentralized and still kind of proactively switch between farming, between coins, and DAOs to manage their algorithms. On the other side, there are funds which are kind of tokenizing their shares, mostly in private equity space. It's the Hamilton case, which announced a partnership with Securitize for $2 billion private equity portfolio in the US, not yet tokenized. So that's how I see recent developments. So guys, let's share your views. How it is going? So why we need decentralized funds? Where is the real opportunity here? So let's start from you, Alex.
Crypto Expo Habibis, salam alaikum! There you go, you guys are still okay, not too tired, day 2. Well, you know, I really want to take a step back and start with why. Why are we talking about this? I think it's very important to bring context. But as you all know here, with blockchain, with crypto, we're trying to solve a problem with regards to trust, right? We've lost trust in financial traditional systems, we've lost trust in commercial banks, we've lost trust in hedge funds, we've lost trust through multiple players, right? But the VC world is not being covered enough, because here, one side we have trust, but the other side we have inclusion. And financial inclusion is absolutely key. Who here has had access to a quality VC deal? Show me your hands. Who here would like access to the primary markets and quality investments in the primary market? Show your hands. For those who don't know, show me a dance. I'm sorry, that was a stupid joke. But the problem we're solving here, guys, is the VC world has been existing for half a century. It formalized in the United States and then took over the world. But even before that, it was really inclusive. It was entirely inclusive, where you would have family offices or family funds that are already extremely wealthy keep their wealth with investment opportunities. And us, the middle class, we never would see any type of these deals. And these deals would go all the way eventually to an IPO And then only then in the secondary markets, all of a sudden, we try to pick up the crumbs, or we're not eating the cake. So one thing that's really important, and this wealth gap, by the way, is growing across the world. In the US, I was born in the US, it is horrible. The 0.5% that own 30 to 40% of wealth is a massive problem because that is the catalyst of many other problems. I'm jealous because he has more wealth, or he's jealous because I have more wealth, creates conflict. And relative to what we see in our everyday lives, we get jealous, and that leads to crimes, violence, blood on the streets. So one thing that's really important, guys, understanding the why first, and inclusion. If we can rebuild trust with blockchain, now with decentralized VC models, we need to bring in more inclusion, and I think that's the really important message we need to send.
Yeah, I can just agree on what you said. I just want to add, maybe as a receiver, because I'm the co-founder of Medieval Empires. It's a mid-core strategy game, play a role game, and we use these VCs also to raise funds. And I think, especially in the days back when blockchain started, it was very important to have this access to money, because the big VCs, they didn't understand what blockchain is, right? So they were checking out what is blockchain, should we invest or not. It was very early, too much risk. So especially then, people who had money in the crypto space, they could form this kind of funds or decentralized VCs and help crypto getting up, actually, to build. I think that's one very, very important point, and I think it changed a lot because we have a lot of big VCs at the moment, also joining and coming into it. But there are still a lot of projects in the market the big VCs cannot deliver on because they can just have a certain amount of projects, obviously. So these smaller DAOs or decentralized DAOs, they are also checking out a lot of small projects, and they see it also from a different angle because they are crypto from the beginning, and they value this kind of companies as crypto companies. And I think this helps to raise money for crypto companies at all. And that's why I think decentralized VCs, decentralized DAOs whatsoever are very important.
Awesome. So I just want to quickly introduce myself. My name is Maral. I'm the CEO of LunaPR and Cointelegraph. So we are award-winning Web3 PR and marketing agency. So a lot of projects are coming to us early on stages looking to raise funds, and of course through VCs, through the high net worths, through even individuals looking to invest in projects, they get the opportunity, and that's what I love about this industry. It's just so inclusive. When we look at actual large funds that are, like from the traditional standpoint, average people like us can't get into these funds. They're the ones investing in indexes and things like that. And people like us can't get involved. So until I actually entered the Web3 space, I wasn't someone who invested because I didn't have an opportunity to do so. But obviously through DAOs, through VCs, we actually have a VC ourselves, VC. We're able to invest in these opportunities, and it's just so inclusive, like you said, Alex. So yeah, that's my
Hello everyone. So great takes from everyone here. My name is Alex. I'm the CEO of Gains Associates. It's a decentralized VC, DAO VC, a community of investors. And I really agree with Assad, when he was saying that we only got the breadcrumbs and not the cake. For decades, people in power, they have had access to the best deals. With the concept of accredited investor, you could not get in on these exclusive deals that could yield the most return if you didn't have the money already. So it was a case of the rich get richer. And with the promise of blockchain, we are removing the barriers to investment. And we are allowing literally anyone on earth. If you're an engineer, you have some time, you're as smart as these guys, you don't have the capital yet, you can invest $500 if you want in some early stage deals that can become the next Facebook, that can become the next Bitcoin. And this for me is really inspiring, and it can change the lives of many people. Invest responsibly, of course.
Cool. So you are running the decentralized fund, right? So how big is it? And how do you manage subscription, redemptions, and overall management?
Right, so we have been in the space for close to 6 years. We have invested 30 million in more than 200 projects. We are early investors in Avalanche, Hashgraph, and Quant Network. These 3 projects are in the top 50 now, so we have backed multiple crypto unicorns. We have also invested in the literal-based project of 2021, Latoken, which peaked at 1000x. And so pretty much we have a research team, but the true power of community is that it allows literally hundreds of people, hundreds of eyes, people who put their hard-earned money on these deals to also take a look and do due diligence. And so that is extremely powerful. It allows us to vet projects even more, and it allows us to support projects even more. When traditional VCs invest, they do not give community support just like we do. So we're able to vet the project better, we invest together, it's a good community feeling, and then we're on this journey together.
Which functions of the fund are managed by smart contracts and which by the community voting in your case?
So could you repeat please?
So which of the functions of the fund are decentralized, with smart contracts or with community voting?
Very good question. To be honest, there are many decentralized projects or funds that are really not decentralized, right? Many parts are centralized. So we are using Snapshot. Snapshot is a tool that allows your community to vote. When you hold tokens, you get voting power, and you can vote yes or no on proposals. This is one of the decentralized aspects. The financial aspect is decentralized. It's automated with smart contracts, so people can send USDC and they can automatically claim their tokens when the project sends them. So all of this is audited and automated. So they don't really have to trust us, which is the great part, right? Now there's also a few centralized parts. We help projects with in-house marketing, with networking. So we don't have to be full-on decentralization. It has to make sense, and it's also a process.
Cool. So guys, it's time to recall the cases. What are the concrete success cases and failures do you recall in the space?
So I want to kind of get an example of what Alexandre was saying earlier. I think he hit a very important point. Who here likes Bollywood movies? Do any of you watch Bollywood movies? Yeah? Okay, we see a lot of hands, right? If you watch Bollywood movies with your friends or your family, you're just a consumer at the end of the entire process, right? You're just going to the movies, or you'll watch it on Netflix, or you'll watch it on TV or something like that, right? So you're just a consumer. I was based in California, I was in Los Angeles, and I can tell you, I saw some of the investors investing in some of the hottest movies. You know, some of the blockbuster movies such as X-Men 1, X-Men 2. And what happens is, we have a group of friends, you know, between like, for example, Jewish friends, and we're saying, hey guys, let's make a 50x on the next X-Men. And we pass the potato together, and that potato stays within this network. What if you guys, instead of just watching your favorite Bollywood movies, could invest in the early days? Why is that so powerful? Because not only you're a part of the budgeting, but they're actually selling tokens to you guys who love the project, who love the movie, who love the actors, who consume it already, and who will help them get the word out, rather than being between a closed wall with 5 guys who just want to make money. So they're gaining more viewers, they're gaining more interest, they're gaining more momentum building online. And you guys not only invest in your favorite project, maybe you're going to be able to see it in a premiere, maybe you're going to be able to eventually, depending on the amount of tokens, meet your favorite actors, your actresses. And you're a part of the entire process, right? And that's inclusion to me. It's not just making a lot of money, but it's also being a part of the entire process because you're passionate and it's aligned with your investments, but also purpose.
That's an interesting example. But what about the tokenized funds or decentralized and smart contracts cases? So good analogy. Where is the practical kind of attempts?
So I think practical or the other way around also it's an issue sometimes. Maybe I came up with this topic because I mean I'm full in crypto. I love crypto. I live from crypto, so I'm very pro crypto. But there are also of course issues in the past. If we had looked at the DAO, for example, that's a good example from 2016, I think, where Ethereum DAO was hacked because the code was not really good, and then the attacker was able to steal a lot of money from the DAO, and then they needed to hard fork, and this is the reason why we have Ethereum classic Ethereum actually. So there are, and this is one example, there are different examples where it happens. It has nothing to do especially with crypto, I would say, but as if you have any smart contracts or if you have any APIs from web to crypto, it's very, very important that they are audited and that they are well proven in terms of security. I think that's one of the most important things because we see more and more projects where it happens, and the outside world only looks on the bad things which happen. But this is very usual in the Web 2 world also. Like Microsoft and all the big companies, they get hacked and all the data gets stolen. But there it's just something. In crypto, it's because all crypto is bad. So all crypto is not bad, and the DAOs who work with smart contracts and all the stuff also not bad. But I think we need to emphasize and to make sure, because we have a lot of smaller DAOs coming, because basically everyone can make a DAO, right? Everyone can make a small VC, which is very good again. Like everyone can participate, do it by themselves. But there are security issues, and we have to take it very serious. That would be my part.
Good. So Ethereum DAO example, very good example, but it's 7 years old. Any first example?
I think Polkadot is a good case study. I think during their token sale, they raised over 140 mil. At the end of the day, we want security, scalability. These are the type of things we need for DAOs to be strong. Like mentioned, I think it was there was a massive hack years back, which again brought some worrisome to the industry and people. For us as an agency, our job is to build credibility and make people feel trusted as well. And for us, we do that through the media and of course through some marketing tactics. But when people have credibility and they have trust behind what they're doing, we see a lot more people get involved in the industry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited about DAOs in general. The biggest DAO, investment DAO, is Big DAO. They have 2.4 billion in assets on-chain, transparent assets.
So again, which DAO?
Big DAO.
Big DAO.
Right. They raised 230 million from Steel, Dragonfly Capital, and many of the top people in Silicon Valley and all around in the world. So that shows that also the old money understands the power of crypto, the power of DAOs, and at the end of the day, it's about solving one of the biggest questions: how do we organize human capital and financial capital in the most efficient way possible to reach the best outcome? And it's not an easy question, right? So all these are still experimentations. Do we have some kind of hierarchy where people delegate their voting power? How does it all work? But these DAOs are already pretty big with billions of assets under management. So I think this is very exciting and it's only going to keep on growing.
So how did DAO work? What exactly is decentralized? Is it kind of some LP token which give exposure to the portfolio? How the portfolio is managed? How the decisions are made to change the management algorithm?
Right, so since they're so big, they do multiple things. They give out grants, they have hackathons, they also invest, and basically all of these go through a DAO approval. So you can submit a proposal. If you're an entrepreneur, you want to get funded, you can tell people about your project, and then the people in the DAO are going to vote. So all fund allocations are decentralized, which is pretty cool.
So can you explain to newcomers to the space how the fund works, the decentralized fund? How I can invest into this fund? How the fund will make decisions to structure its portfolio? How community influence these decisions? How can I get my money back? These four things. How it works for BizDAO?
Right, so if you buy some of their token, the BIT token, you get to vote on proposals, and then if you make smart decisions, then you're going to invest in good projects, which is going to grow the assets under management, and then they do some buyback of the token with the profits, which brings back value to you ultimately. So that's how it works.
So there is a BizDAO token which gives exposure to a portfolio of other tokens, right? So is it working through smart contract, or there is some centralized layer So how money received for sale of this bits token gets into the next tokens, into portfolio?
So they have multiple coins in their treasury, of course. They have USDC, USDT, they have some of their own token, they have multiple tokens they have invested in, and then they use their stable coin to invest, and then they also decide when they want to take profits. And to handle these huge amounts of money, they have a few people trusted in the space, and they handle what is called a multi-sig wallet. So that means in order to liberate funds and allocate them, some of these people need to say, yes, we do agree.
Oh, that sounds like some centralized layer here to invest these stable coins into underlying portfolio coins, right?
But I think, Valentin, like actually decentralized VC, I don't think it's the appropriate word. Once again, inclusion is more important than centralization. Decentralization is good for blockchains, layer 0, 1, 2s, but investment is not decentralization to go, it's inclusion. And right now, if you guys want to make money, I'm going to be very honest, before you're able to access these deal flow, which by the way, the best deal we've invested in, there were 0 VCs, it was all angels, and the project 120x. So you put $1,000, you make $100,000, but there are layers, there are levels to the game. And I want to be really honest, and we need to be transparent about this. First, you start with crypto. You start being conservative. If you're new to this, Bitcoin, Ethereum, you play the conservative roles. And the profits and gains that you make through the more conservative plays, you allocate some to a launch pool, to a launch pad, or an investment DAO. You need to do your due diligence and select what is the best way for me to play with those gains and try to multiply them. And step by step, as you go forward, you're going to throw into 10 projects, maybe $500 in 10 projects. 8 of them are going to go to 0 because that's just the law of startups, right? 80% of projects go to 0 within the first 3 years. But 2 of them will start building your wealth. And I can tell you guys, when you want to accumulate wealth, if you want to make money, there are levels to the game, but also it takes time and discipline. So I think that, once again, decentralized VCs, I don't think that really matters. What really matters is inclusive VCs, and that's my personal standpoint.
Cool. So this comes to the next question in our agenda. So probably the biggest case is this Bits DAO fund. It's $2.5 billion under management. Wow. But it's pretty centralized, as I got it from the discussion. So what is the platform? What is the most advanced platform to launch the fund? So I want to launch the fund. Can I go to a platform and click to create a token of the fund, which will be a subscription redemption vehicle like LP token? Then I sell this LP token and they receive the stable coins and use it to buy some underlying assets. Maybe through smart contracts, or maybe through DAO decision, or maybe through my decision. What are the platforms in this space? Who knows them?
I mean, there's a website actually named Presale, and they are white labeling tech for DAO infrastructure. So it's a good website. Many of the smaller DAOs use it. But overall, what you need is a forum to exchange ideas and discuss. You need voting to vote on ideas. You need a reputation system. You need smart contracts for the financial flux. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I feel like it's difficult to determine like the best. You know, like I've heard things about Aave, for example. But like going back to what I said, it's like security, scalability, and then user interface as well. Like if it looks and feels, you know, sexy, then people are also more prone to these platforms when they're getting involved as well.
Okay, so I recall Securitize, but this is centralized tokenization platform, which announced launch of the private equity fund with Hamilton, more than $2 billion fund. But this is about getting private equity more liquid, tradable on the secondary market on centralized platforms. So the centralized platform trade this token of this fund, it's not much decentralized. It's more decentralized than the traditional registry and custody, but still it is kind of managed by the securitized centralized platform. And the legal contracts which bound the token is underlying traditional private equity company. So securitize maybe the biggest player in the space. What about decentralized platforms to launch the fund? Nobody knows them, right? Nobody. Surprise.
Not really. I mean, to help with spreading the word, regulation might help, right? Because all these DAO VCs, in the grand scheme of things, they're pretty small. And what most mainstream people say is, they want to be reassured. And what they know is regulation. So the issue is, there's been quite a number of regulated scams actually in the past. So you have to be mindful of that. But if we can have some regulation, a mix of the old world with the new world ethos, that can bring trust and bring more people and make these DAO VCs more known.
Yeah, what about urban finance? So is it a platform or a fund itself? Who knows their business model?
No, but I think Valentin, you have a good point. So decentralized and on-chain are two completely different words. Sorry. So sometimes you may have a project on-chain and people just by default think it's decentralized. Besides Bitcoin and Ethereum, nothing is truly decentralized quantitatively, right? If you measure, it's just on-chain and it's on its way to becoming decentralized. But guys, I just want to share one thing. I'm trying to think of you, the beloved community and people watching out there. What can I share that's valuable to you? If you don't want to go through the investment route, if you don't think, okay, I want to go through Bitcoin and then step by step, level by level, go into decentralized or inclusive VCs, DAOs, or launchpads, what I would recommend is start getting involved in social fi. Start creating your identity online. Open up your wallets. Go to Lens Protocol. Create your Assad.lens identity. Because in the future, right now, it's still a very capitalistic model, right? If you have money, you will make more money. And even the layer 012 blockchains, proof of stake is purely capitalistic. There's governance, but still you need money to make money, right? But I think in the future, by having a strong behavior, by creating your Web3 identity, people will be able to know on an honest level that you're a good person. You're helping them promote their project. You brought other friends onto the project, and they will be rewarding you with tokens, which will then give you access to other opportunities. It won't come right away, but just create your Web3 wallets, create your Web3 identity, and start being active in these networks. You're going to receive airdrops, and then with those airdrops, you're going to receive a score. And then all of a sudden, as Ray Dalio says in the book Principles, it's not purely capitalistic, it's going to become meritocratic. Because you guys have put your effort and love into growing the community and the networks, and you will be rewarded for that. That's where I see it going, and that's where it needs to go.
By the way, this airdrops model was used by some of the platform to avoid the security regulation risk, where kind of those who buy LP token of the decentralized fund, they officially do not get exposure to certain portfolio management services. They get exposure to airdrop tokens. So the portfolio, the repayment of this LP token was done like it's a ticket to get free airdrops, right? Which were effectively dividends. But as I remember, others in Horowitz invested into this idea, but where is the traction? Maybe Crypto Winter silenced this kind of great ideas for a while. Maybe they kind of keep it growing in under stealth mode. So, what's your thought on this? Okay. Me too, frankly, yes. So, we have kind of a few questions left. That's about what is needed for the funds infrastructure, and what type of funds can find a product market fit. So
yeah, so
it's up to you.
yeah, I mean, if we talk about the infrastructure of funds, I think this is something where the big companies have an advantage because they know how infrastructure works. If we talk about lawyers, if we talk about security and the different points we have in big companies. What I see, but I talk really about the small decentralized DAOs or VCs, is that they start something and they think they can just do it and don't need to take care about infrastructure itself. And I think this is where it can start and you can gather money. But if you don't have a good backup plan, if you don't have a good security plan, and if you don't have good lawyers on board, then you will get an issue over time. And this is what I see when we engage with some smaller VCs, when we get some money as a project. We had a look on how they are built and who's behind. And we saw a lot of smaller VCs, decentralized VCs, they had not really a great team in place where you can say, I'm very sure that they know what they're doing. They were still able to gather money because they had a community. And I think that's, again, the power. Like if you have a community and they trust you, you can gather money and you can spend it again on some projects and get good profits. But on the way from investing somewhere and getting profits, a lot can go wrong, right? And this needs to be secured. So I think infrastructure is the most important thing to take care of. And I think the smaller VCs, they still need to learn how to do it. We all need to learn how to do it because blockchain is still young, regulation is still changing, especially if you talk about tokens and liabilities and securities. Like in the future, a lot can happen. So we need to be, I think, very cautious, and we need to have a good team in these VCs to have a successful, long-lasting one.
Yeah, cool. So one question left in our agenda. I think we touched it multiple times. Yet, where is the traction? What kind of funds can find the product market fit?
Yeah, so for us, a lot of projects are coming on and they want to connect to exchanges, they want to connect to the DAOs because the DAOs are associated with the launch pads. And again, we're trying to get this inclusivity and get everyone involved. So for us, we want to find a way to, we would like to market our clients, bring them up, that way they're ready to go out there to market. And then also communicate with the DAOs, with launch pads and exchanges and ensure they're in line as well. So yeah, that's it's such a niche topic, but yeah, that's basically it.
I think the DAOs that will prevail will be those that bring the most value in a transparent manner. As I was saying, it's a lot about meritocracy and accountability. There was actually a huge project which got refunded by a DAO because they were kind of competitors and they didn't provide enough value. And there's been a big discussion in the space between how do VCs, traditional VCs, behave compared to retailers when it comes to taking profits, or to say it, more clearly, dumping sometimes. And you would be shocked at how much these very well, famous, reputed VCs dump like crazy. And so the poorest retailers hold a lot more. And with the power of blockchain, we, for the first time in history, are able to do on-chain analysis and see an average of the community behavior, and that has value in addition to the community support. And so I think this is something that will be tracked more and more in order to put some kind of value on the investors as well.
And I think for all you guys out there, so you see the title here, we have VCs and yield funds. Right now in the current market conditions, really it's for you to figure out, number one, what is your own risk appetite, right? How much are you willing to lose relative to how much you're willing to make? But also dividing between the two. Right now we're in a market that's relatively sluggish and not a bull market. So perhaps you want to put more of the ratio of your funds into the yields. And yields, there are different type of opportunities. We have something called liquid staking, which is very, very popular these days. And you can earn anywhere between 6 to 15, 16% APY a year and accumulate your funds that have already retraced and corrected from their all-time highs. So what ratio do you want to put into those yields? There's another very interesting part, which are decentralized hedge funds, which are essentially algorithmic strategies, quant strategies. And you put your USDC, you put your Bitcoin, you put your Ethereum, and it will essentially put a percentage of that into a yield, and then the rest of it will go long, short, and it will automate your wealth. So you don't have to put any of your effort. So those are the two routes. You see yield funds, what am I going to put into liquid staking? What am I going to put into quant strategies to grow my wealth? And then with the wealth that I grow, how much do I want to put into the VC model, the launchpad, or the down model that Maral was talking about earlier? So it's really a ratio, but I can tell you this, guys. If you time well your participation in the launchpads and the VC side at the right time, obviously we can never time it perfectly, but you manage to do that when the market starts picking up, the gains are exponential. They're asymmetrical returns all over the place. So it's really for you guys to kind of balance the two, right? Find what's the right balance for you and take that risk and return appetite approach, which I think is key to success and key to growing your wealth, even before essentially going straight into the VC model.
To summarize, guys, so there are two big use cases of the decentralized funds. One of them is about tokenization of traditional assets. It's about bringing liquidity to private equity. And but this has a lack of traction because the traditional assets are not much interested to crypto investors. There is a little upside in terms of, it's not about new money printing, which is a really marginal business in crypto. Print your money, expand user base, create $1 trillion value. That's how crypto is growing. But when you have some real estate or private companies kind of became tradable, they have 20 upside on liquidity, 20%. Not 20,000, just 20. So it's for traditional investors who are not eager to try the new instruments. They have their old way to invest into private equity as well. So retail investors are pretty new for their traditional equity, for private equity. They still have Facebook valued at 15 price earning ratio, which is 2 to 3 times below kind of the average for the last 5 years. So they have something to buy on the public market. So there is neither demand from institutionals, there is neither demand for retail investors to buy secondary, to buy private equity on the tokenized private equity. And of course not a crypto community. They need something with a bigger upside, like new gold. So this is the first part of the story. It's about bringing liquidity to traditional assets. The second part is about DeFi, which kind of had a big hit a year ago. Last May, the total value locked was close to 150 billion, and just in 1 month, in July, it declined to 50 billion, so 3 times. That's because of liquidation of position of fear of capital and other terror-related liquidations. And this TVL is still pretty low. It's about 50 billion and not growing. So this is a kind of very, very cold year for this second type of decentralized funds on DeFi. So these DeFi funds, they try to maximize yields by farming, mostly by relocating their staking into new chains, which has a new gas token to enrich the yield of their legend protocols, of their liquidity staking protocols, or proof of staking protocols, or just staking, where the new token print some tokens to pay this inflationary model. So these funds were trying to switch between the yield opportunities cross-chain until the UST was one of the biggest story. Stablecoin with 20% collapsed and collapsed the entire market. So then there is a cross-chain risk. Cross-chain risk, when you move money cross-chain, the bridge broke and wormhole running, they all kind of $500 million losses. So kind of now we have this pullback from this space with pretty little traction. That's where we are now. However, without this big institutional money, without those who can make it easier to benefit on all of these opportunities, cross-chain yield farming opportunities, or even traditional assets liquidity, traditional asset tokenization, there's a lack of connection between retail investors and this market. They need some type of intermediary, decentralized intermediary, to bring their money into the game. Crypto exchanges, they started to solve part of this problem. So they started to offer the yield opportunities and maybe even some index stories. Kraken was asked to stop it. Binance has also risks there. Security Exchange Commission came after the Genesis collapse and what was the crypto exchange which kind of which lost money on Genesis? The twins, Winklevoss twins. What is the exchange? Okay, so the two Zuckerberg's enemies, twins Zuckerberg enemies. Gemini, yes, Gemini. So they kind of lost their money, clients' money on Genesis platform, which was centralized farming platform like Celsius. And then crypto exchanges also stopped to move money here. Right? And I believe this is some bigger force now, which kind of prevent the market to grow. So guys, what would you like to add into conclusion? Maybe some of your summaries, your vision, or we go into questions, if any.
Yeah, so from my point of view, I think, as I said at the beginning, decentralized VCs is a great opportunity for startups to get money, to get into the market, and it's very good for small investors like you and me, just to put small money into these funds and also earn something from that. So it enables startups, but also investors to have a bigger stake in these VCs, which is very interesting. And still, as I said, also we need to take care that in terms of law and security, really take care that everything is working good, and we have good people in VCs and the decentralized VCs. They can care about the network and the different areas to work in, and especially law and security. I think is the thing coming up with the regulations we need to take care of. So I look very positive into decentralized VCs. They helped us, they helped a lot of other people, and they will help much more companies. I'm very positive.
Yeah, if you guys want to raise funds in the future for your own projects, I would highly recommend looking at different alternatives than the VCs. And I think everything should be strategic. If you want money, there has to be more than just money. Because when you go through the crowd, you're getting money, but you're also getting users. So think about that. When people invest in you, you're actually keeping a whole community with you. With SwissBorg ourselves, when we did our ICO, we had 13,000 participants across the world. And then after that, we did some governance, which brought us 45,000. And all of a sudden now, 5 years later, we went from 5 employees to 238 employees and scaling. Because it's the power of the community, guys. We have to break this broken model of just making the rich richer, just giving to VCs. And it's not the VCs themselves. You know, there's some great people. It's not the people we need to blame. It's the model that's broken. So really think about the community. Who are the people you want on a strategic level, and not just the money that will help you grow your company. And if you're investing in the same thing, start now, think about your risk appetite, try to get involved in both yields, but eventually get involved in some of these opportunities, because I can tell you guys, I have many wealthy friends. One of them is actually weighs $2.3 billion in net worth. And I can tell you 100%, not 99, not 98, not 99.9, 100% of them have built their wealth through investing. And not through just salaries or freelance contracts and all that kind of stuff. It's the mindset that we need to have. So if you're a project, that's my advice to you. If you're an investor, that's my advice to you. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching so far. You've been an amazing crowd. Cool.
Yeah, so for me, I think with decentralized VCs, it's a great opportunity for people to get involved. From a project basis, this is where you can find amazing funding, and from an investor basis, it's again a whole new way to get involved. So because I think you guys covered most of it.
I love the energy, Assad. Valentin, you brought many good points, and I wanted to come back to one, which is traditional assets and private equity. Because for now, there is no bridge between on-chain token investments and traditional equity investments. And I think there is a huge opportunity there. CZ from Binance is not really trying to compete with the other exchanges. It's trying to get more people who are not yet in crypto to come in crypto. This is where the huge piece of the pie lies, to the outside world. So if we can bridge these two worlds, I think it's amazing. Of course, we should still keep on finding the best crypto deals, and there are tons of amazing opportunities. It's a space that moves super fast. The biggest number of smart people I've ever seen, and we can link these two worlds. With regulation, bring trust. We can have KYC, so some kind of KYC 3.0 with zero knowledge proofs. You can retain your privacy and still show that you're a good guy and you're good to invest. So there's many things to do. I would join Assad's claim: invest, do it, start, lose some money, make some money. The future is bright and full of opportunities. Get on it now.
Great, so thanks a lot for this panel. It was very insightful. We are in the winter, but I think kind of something should kind of spike out of here. Kind of when the startups will use the money received for 40 billion, they received for $40 billion in 2021. Many of them are about DeFi protocols. Many of them are about decentralized venture funds. So they will build their products. They will start to show traction, attract the clients. So, and then there is another spring to come. So guys, kind of, I wish everybody build these protocols faster, bring traction faster, so we have next spring to get next 5 billion to the space. Thank you.
Thank every member of this astonishingly proficient and intellectual panel. The dialogue and rapport between all of you, along with the expert intellect and distinctive perspective you provided us with, was truly sensational. Everybody join me in applauding Mr. Valentin, Mr. Assad, Ms. Maral, Mr. Fazel, and Mr. RAFFIN with me. Please, a huge round of applause for their expert analysis.